All right, hello, and welcome to this weather update. It's around 8 o'clock on July 25th, 2018. And we are stuck in this disgusting soup, humidity, tropical air that we've been dealing with now for quite a number of days, and we will continue to deal with for a number of days. And you can see here that we have some showers that have been popping up on. This has pretty much been the story. We had a little break yesterday and some sunshine. But for the most part, we've been dealing with this tropical air. At least yesterday we had a lot of wind, so it didn't feel too bad. Today I noticed this evening the wind has been dying down, and let me tell you, just walking 10 minutes, you're just covered in sweat, and you're just, I'm severely overheating. After 10 minutes of walking outside tonight, I was severely overheating. Like a nice bus, I was ready to break down. Anyway, this is a look at the radar. So we're going to have more rain tonight. We need the rain, but this is, again, an unusual pattern that we are in, and we're going to talk about that a little later. But before I do that, let's take a look at the current conditions across our area. And the humidity is very high. So at Islip, it's not that hot, temperature 75, but the dew point is 74, and you notice the winds now have dropped off quite a bit, and that's why it's feeling a lot worse. We look at JFK, 75 with a dew point of 75. So it's sultry, it's sticky, it's extremely humid and disgusting outside. Central Park, 75 degrees with a dew point of 73, and barely any wind at all. And we go to Tom's River. The temperature's still the same because the sun isn't out. 75 degrees and that dew point. So dew points are generally ranging in the mid 70s, which is extremely uncomfortable. We haven't had the dew point go below 70 since I think Friday or Saturday. I think Friday, right? Friday. So it's just been, what a stretch this has been, and it continues. So I want to show you the Ventus Sky again, this Ventus Sky site. And you can see, this is a great wider view of everything. You can see that we have all this tropical moisture coming up. Look at this. It shows the wind flow. This is all the precipitations that have formed. And these little things popping up on the screen are lightning strikes. So we're going to zoom out here. And I want to show you this just to show you the pattern that we're in. Very unusual pattern. And thank God there's nothing that's down there as far as tropical storms, because they would come right up the East Coast with this pattern. You can see here is that high right here. Look at that. It shows up perfectly. That Atlantic grid shows up perfectly. You can see it's stretching all the way up. Look at that. All the way up into southeastern Canada. So this ridge is huge. It's very unusual, very anomalous. And you can see where the air is coming from. Literally, we are having tropical air all the way up the East Coast, which is absolutely incredible. If you take a look at the air temperature, we'll go ahead and we'll look at the temperature now. You'll see that there's a lot of heat. That is across the center part of the country. We're not dealing with so much heat because we have clouds in place, and that's why it's keeping the temperature down. If the sun were to come out, it would get hot pretty quickly. But that's the only saving grace, is that we are, this is a murk, so we're stuck in this murk, and the sun isn't out, so at least it's not as hot. We're going to look at the, let's go a little more at the temperature. We're going to actually go around here and show you the temperature here. You can see that these colors, I really like this site here. Check it out, ventussky.com. And you can see here that we have a lot of heat in the south. Heat all over the place. All right, and even if we go into Alaska, there is heat. Believe it or not, yes, we are in, and we're going to look at Alaska and Canada. This is within the Arctic Circle. Look at that. This is in the Arctic Circle now. Temperatures near 90 degrees. So we have a global, I'm going to call this a global heat wave. Some other people have used that phrase, and that's what I'm going to call it, because not only are we having heat in the Arctic Circle and across much of the country, but there's heat in the United Kingdom. If we go and we look at the United Kingdom here, right now it doesn't look too bad, but there was some heat earlier in the United Kingdom. Well, I think it's nighttime there, so that may be why we're not seeing it as much. We'll get to that when we look at the models. But just a lot of heat all over. There's been heat in Japan, wildfires in Greece. So we're going to talk about all this stuff. And I think we go to humidity too. Let's see. I think this might show dew point. Oh, great! It does. Awesome. Awesome. This is a wonderful sight, by the way. You can see here, look at these dew points in the 70s. Look at these dew points in the 70s, almost up to Maine. So you can see this really shows the humid air just literally is just all over the place. And this is I mean, literally, we are experiencing some stuff that we've never seen before. Obviously, out west, it's very dry. You can see this is where the dry air is. But this is the future now. Everybody's hot, but the East Coast is humid and the West Coast is dry. And this may be what we're going to start seeing as the climate changes. So great site. Check it out, ventusky.com. We can actually look at clouds too, and show you where the clouds are at. You can see again the clouds coming up. We'll look at the satellite too. So I want to give you a really extensive weather report because we have a lot of unusual things going on on this planet, really alarming. So I want to show you some of the heat that's been going on in Fairbanks, Alaska. So this is for Fairbanks International Airport in Fairbanks, Alaska. And they've been in the mid-80s. And actually they had one day that was the 20th, we're going to actually go back here, the 22nd where it hit 88 degrees. Yeah, you're looking at Fairbanks, Alaska. All right near the Arctic Circle. So don't tell me we don't have a climate crisis going on, because this is some stuff I've never seen before, and we should be extremely alarmed at it. So now we're going to look at the Worldview satellite. I don't have all of it in for today, but just want to show you what's going on. There's a lot of smoke all over the Arctic right now. The Arctic is burning. The Arctic is burning. And the boreal forests are burning up here in Canada, and there are some massive fires all over the globe. Let's see if we can go over Siberia and we can take a look and see. You can see, oh yeah, it's not going to show up on this one. We got to go back. Yesterday there was a ton of smoke over there. So again, you can see all the smoke again in the Arctic. And this is because it's hotter, it's drier than normal, and these fires are just burning and burning and burning. And so we're losing forests up here. We're losing forests which absorb carbon dioxide. We're emitting carbon dioxide into the air by the burning of these forests. So it's really starting to, I think we have reached that tipping point where we are reaching the destruction of this planet by climate change. So let's go ahead and look at some of these fires going. So again, you can see, and we've got the fires out west. Over here, there's fires now in Yellowstone. Fires here. There's fires all over. Fires all over this planet. All over this planet right now. And we have fires in Greece. Smoke doesn't show up too much on here, but tragically, a lot of people died because of that. And here we go with Siberia. So I'm going to get to Siberia here. All right. Which would help if I did this. Put the coastlines in. All right. So this is Siberia over here. All right. So look at all that smoke. There's lots of fires in Siberia because it's above normal there too. We can go over here. And actually, there was a very unusual event. And I think it was from the smoke from the fires. It actually got the sky so dark in parts of Siberia that day turned into night. So you could see all the smoke these fires have been burning for days and days and days. Here's a really good close-up of them. So we have a climate crisis on our hands. We are seeing the destruction of the planet. And it's amazing how people just aren't upset or alarmed at all about it. And we have reached that tipping point, and it could happen very fast. And I want to look at this site because this has to do with Arctic sea ice. And this is the other thing that I think we're very close to seeing, is an ice-free North Pole in the summer. And this will have huge consequences on the climate on this planet, because what's going to happen is, without the ice in the Arctic reflecting the sunlight, it is going to wind up warming exponentially. And we will see something called an Arctic monsoon, or we're getting to see monsoonal types of weather patterns all across the globe because of what we're doing here to the planet. And that's why people are saying, oh, if Yellowstone erupts, it's going to be terrible. Actually, it might be the best thing to happen to this planet. It's the only thing that's going to stop this runaway climate change now that we're going through. Yeah, a lot of people are going to die. It's going to be tragic, but it's the only way that this planet might be saved. Anyway, I want to show you the sea ice extent and concentration here. And it's very thin. So this is tells you the percentage of sea ice. The darker colors are where the ice is very thin. And the thing is, the ice extent is below normal, but it's not just that. The ice is much thinner than normal. So obviously, it's much thinner than normal. All the smoke from the fires is winding up over here and darkening the ice, causing it to melt that much faster. So we're going to continue. I think we're going to get very close to an ice-free Arctic, if not this summer, next summer. And that is going to really, we are off the cliff, man. We are off the cliff. But nobody seems to, none of the politicians, no one in the media seems to really be alarmed about this. And you can see here it says smoke on the frozen water. So I'll provide you a link to this site as well. I think Yellowstone erupting could be one of the best things. It would block out a lot of the sunlight, lower the global temperatures, and I think it's the only way we're going to get this planet back on track here. It's going to be a lot of upheaval, but the upheaval that's going to result from climate change is going to be, and I really want to get into it in another video, as to exactly how climate change is going to impact us here on Long Island. So anyway, let's get to the computer models now. So you may ask, when are we going to see relief from this horrible pattern? Unfortunately, there isn't really going to be any long-term relief from it. That ridge is going to pretty much stay stuck there. It's going to budge a little bit toward the end of this week and allow some drier air to possibly build in. But the rain chances stay right through until probably Sunday. And you see some drier air trying to push in, but you see this ridge right here. This doesn't go anywhere. We go right through the period. Look at that. It doesn't go anywhere, and it actually builds in further. So literally right through the second week of August, we will not see any nice weather as far as clear skies, any good hiking weather. We're not seeing that. The rest of the summer could be a write-off now. So because of this pattern, this ridge isn't going anywhere. You can see here it is just stuck in place. So we get a little bit. Sunday might be the best day we're going to have, because after we're going to have a little dry air trying to nudge in. You'll look at the dew points and I'll show that to you. But until then, you can see that we have that ridge trying to build back, and it's just ridiculous. So we'll take a look now at the dew points and I'll show you that drier air trying to build through. So go into here and you can see the drier air over here. You can see all the humidity here, and as you go into the weekend here, you'll see that dry air trying to make a push. It's going to make a push, but the front is going to stall to the south. So but we should get enough dry air that dew points could get maybe into the upper 50s, which would feel nice. But after that, I think the humidity comes back, and it sure does in full force. Look at that, dew points well into the 70s, and it's just going to be oppressive right through. Right through. The humidity is going to be with us, and look at that, dew points in the 70s all the way up into Canada. This is insane what we're going through on this planet right now. Absolutely insane. Let's take a look at the temperature anomaly. Let's do that, temperature anomaly. So we'll take a look at temperature anomaly, we'll look at temperatures. We're looking at the GFS, obviously. So pretty much near average. Goes a bit above average on Friday. You can see that below average air, and we're not going to really get into that. And then Sunday, you can see it's just near average slightly, and then we go above average, I think, when that ridge starts building. So the only saving grace is because of all the clouds around, we're not going to be significantly above average. There will be days where we will be above average, but not significantly. All right, but I do want to actually take a look at other parts of the world when it comes to this temperature anomalies. Okay, there actually is one more thing I wanted to show you on the satellite. We have that dust coming off the Sahara, of course, which actually is very helpful to inhibiting a tropical development. So that's good. We have that, and that's only because it's drier than normal there, and I guess that's why. But also hotter and drier than normal is the United Kingdom, and what's going on here in the United Kingdom is that it's been hotter and drier than normal. You notice all the brown here. Well, that's because they're having a drought, and if we go, and it's actually going to impact things. So if we actually take this back, I'm going to take it way back into May here. That was a current image. Look at how much greener everything was. Look at how green everything was there. I could find a day that was clear. Hold on. Find a day that was clear. I could see. Look at how green everything is. Yeah, there you go. That's a good view. All right. So as we go through the view, you could see how the green has turned into brown as the heat has withered away a lot of things. Now, there's another theory that's floating around out there, and there's been an increase in ultraviolet radiation to the surface of the Earth, and we don't understand exactly why. Some people have said, you've thrown the phrase solar minimum around, but really, when a solar minimum, we should be getting less UV radiation. So what is going on? Why is our ozone layer dying? These are things nobody's really talking about. So as we go into June, you'll see it's starting to turn browner and browner. As you see, actually, it's still fairly green, but you see it's starting to turn browner now. Oh, look at that! There's a fire right there. Look at that. There you go. So it's starting to turn browner. So again, you can see how the effects of this heat and drought. Look at that becoming more brown right before your eyes. Actually, I would like to take a look now at the United Kingdom weather. And then we'll look at the jet stream, and that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. I'm sorry it's turning out to be long and a little unorganized, but we have a lot of, look at how brown that is. We have a lot of unusual stuff going on this planet, and people need to be talking about it. Instead of Trump, 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 Trump. I'm imitating my friend Matt, but that's all you hear on the news. Well, I can't look for the past month, but I can tell you this. This is from the Met Office site. I'll put all these links below. The high gets up to 32 degrees Celsius tomorrow. 32 Celsius. You know how hot that is? All right, we're talking well into the 90s here. All right, it's unbelievable. The only thing is I don't think it's humid. It's humid. It's a dry heat. I think this heat is coming off the Sahara, I think. Let's see, humidity. We'll take a look at the humidity. Yeah, it's kind of on the low side. It's just crazy. And then you see a dry with plenty of hot sunshine. So the UK is turning, oh yeah, it is warm and muggy. So there is some humidity. It's almost becoming like a desert over there. It's really some really strange things going on with the weather on this planet. Okay, we're back at Vento Sky. I'll wrap up this video now. Looking at the jet streams, the winds at high altitudes. And you can see how diffuse the jet streams are, all right? See how spread out they are, see how wavy they are, particularly in the northern hemisphere. And this is why we're seeing this crazy weather that we are seeing. And the jet streams are all like kinked up, and they're not moving the way they're supposed to be moving. And remember, the jet streams are fueled, and I've said it again, the jet stream. Remember this. If you can't remember anything else I said in this video, keep this in mind. The jet streams are energy is fueled by the difference in temperature between the temperature of the tropics and the temperature at the poles, and that difference has been shrinking, and so the jet streams have been getting weaker. This is science backed up by many scientists, we've got to get some urgency here. I don't want to start a panic, but I want to see our government officials take this seriously and start taking steps to do something about it. And the first thing we need to do, let's get these gas guzzlers off the road right now. I see so many of them all over the place. They are fueling this. They are behind this. The gas guzzlers need to be taken off the road immediately. And if I was the President of the United States, I would have made that decision probably months or maybe even years ago to immediately I would sign an executive order barring SUVs and pickup trucks for private use. They would only be allowed for commercial use, and that would be across this entire country. All right, that would be the first thing we would do. The second thing we would do is mandate that by the year 2020, all vehicles are hybrids. There will be no more basic internal combustion engines. And by the year 2025, all vehicles will be electric. There will be no internal combustion vehicles left. That's what we need to do, but that's not happening, and it's not going to happen with that buffoon we have in the White House right now. All right, but the blame goes to both sides. Republicans and Democrats have both screwed up because they're both paid off by the big oil, which is why we need a new party in this country. And we are going to suffer the consequences if we don't get our act together. And I'm going to talk about those consequences in another video. Anyway, take care, stay cool, stay inside, and let's pray for planet Earth.